I'm Katie Grossman, the ultramarathon runner sponsored by New Balance. I'm also a creative professional, wife, and mom. Life has gotten crazy, especially after battling a tumor, but running still improves my life, both physically and mentally. Go beyond the run at newbalance.com.
Fall means autumnal breezes and vibrant earthy colors. It also means fall allergens, bacteria, and particles coming into your home. So swap out your old HVAC air filter with a Filtrete air filter from a retailer near you. Let's clear the air.
Hey, and welcome to the HA Podcast. I'm Danny Sheriff, the host of this podcast, the founder of the HA Society, and an HA recovery coach who has walked wherever you currently are. This is the place to come if you care about getting your period regularly. This podcast aims to educate, inform, and keep you motivated on your period and HA recovery track. I would love it if you could rate and review this podcast, 5 stars only, to help make this podcast easier for other women with HA to find it. And last thing, nothing from this show should be taken as medical advice. Please seek the advice of your physician. We are hosting an event that you are invited to. My co-HA coach Ashley and I are inviting you to a free 5-day workshop called Mental Hunger Mindset Mastery. What a name, I know, but it really sums up what the workshop does and is really well. A very common concern around HA recovery is, what if I can't hear my hunger cues? And there's a widespread fear of accidentally over or under eating for recovery because we don't understand our mental hunger or lack thereof hunger. And it's like mental hunger, what's that versus actual hunger? And I think this whole confusion around real hunger and the hunger that's just in my head and should I be eating this much and all of that jazz, it just really needs to be consolidated. We need to get on the same page with this. We need to feel better about it and get a plan of action. So we're going to turn it all on its head in this workshop. Over the 5 days, we're going to work with you to understand what mental hunger is and why we have it. We're going to teach you to partner with it both during and after recovery, just for life. And we're going to give you the tools and strategies that you need to listen to your hunger during the different stages and phases of both recovery and your whole life. The workshop will go over 5 days starting November 12th, and there'll be 3 live Zoom calls. Don't worry, there is a recording of every call if you miss one, and there'll be assignments for you to tackle on the days in between the live calls. So register for this free workshop now by heading to thehasociety.com/workshop or find the link in the show notes. That's the thehasociety.com/workshop. Can't wait to see you in the Mental Hunger Mindset Mastery workshop. Hey guys, throwing in an extra episode this week. Basically, wanted to talk about not getting obsessed or over-focused on recovery. We actually talk about this topic all the time in the society. I think it comes up every time I ask for topic requests for community calls. It comes up about like, how can I not be so obsessed, or how can I, find my own thing and not be just so focused on HA recovery all the time. And I can really relate because I just remember wanting all the information and wanting other people who share my story that I can relate to. And I mean, obviously, because I made this podcast, because I wanted those resources to exist, because I just was consuming so much. But over time, it's become really clear to me that the vast majority of us want, above all else, freedom and release from this issue. We are searching for, reasons and evidence to validate our experience. Like, I'm not small enough to have HA, or, I've had HA for over 10 years. Does that mean I'm not likely to get my period back? Or how much food do I really need to eat to get my period back? Or what does real hunger actually look like versus, just mental hunger, and all of these things that we spend a lot of time looking into to try and find the answers, to validate what we're doing, to feel less like a unicorn, the one person who can't recover. And I think that looking looking for this validation and researching and kind of immersing yourself in recovery related content is good. It's good. So people kind of get worried, oh, I think I'm over obsessing. I think I'm focusing too much. And that might be true, but I don't want you to think that it's a really big deal, because maybe you just need to back off a little bit. It is important that you do consume some of this content. It is important that you do listen to podcasts if that's your thing, or read blogs or articles, or have conversations with friends, or join the HA Society, because if you don't have those things in your life, and if you're not allowing HA recovery to be somewhat of a crucial focus for you right now, you're less likely to follow through, because the outside world is full of not just distractions, but active campaigns to get you doing the opposite. If you didn't listen to this show, if you didn't join groups about recovery or read articles and blogs about recovery, all you would hear about is the value of weight loss. And all you would see is the marketing and messaging out there that got you in this conundrum, this predicament in the first place. So it is important that you're checking in. And I think that it can feel like you're checking in and over consuming recovery content because you have to be active about it. You have to actively go and seek it. You have to open up your phone or open up your browser and go look for this information, or you have to instigate conversations with people in your life about it. Whereas all the other information out there about losing weight and exercising every day is like the best thing for your health, and eating in a calorie deficit constantly is the key to being a successful and productive woman in society, that conversation, you don't need to seek it out. So it doesn't feel like you're obsessed with that as much. And seeking out information about recovery and your story and getting your experiences validated and staying motivated and focused on the task ahead, which is recovery, you're seeking that out actively, constantly, all the time. And so I think that's why it feels like you're being obsessed with it. Now, to a degree, maybe you are overdoing it. I don't know. Maybe you're new to this podcast and you're binging every episode, and so you've listened to my voice a lot very recently. You're going to run out of episodes soon. You're going to be up to speed. And you're going to have, like, maybe you're new, you've just discovered you have HA, and you've just started diving into the rabbit hole that is recovery. And you're starting to think, oh my gosh, am I getting way too in the weeds with this? Am I getting obsessed? No, you're not. This is new to you. You're consuming a lot about it. You're interested in it. And that interest will start to wane. You'll have absorbed as much information as you can. You'll have looked for the answer to the same question in different places many times and gotten the answer and come to your conclusion about the one that you like, or the conclusion that no one's going to answer this question differently. You know what to do now. And as that happens, you become slowly less and less, quote unquote, obsessed with recovery. It becomes easier for you to move and shift your interest into different areas. So right now, I don't think you need to be concerned about the amount of time you're spending thinking and focusing on your recovery. Do you wish to get to a point in your life where this is way behind you? Of course you do. I want that for you too. But in order to get there, you have to go through. And in order to get to the place you really, really want to be mentally, you do need to invest some time being focused on recovery and consuming this kind of content and thinking about it all the time and journaling about it so that you can remain focused on the task ahead. So if you're feeling a little bit like, okay, that's really great, I feel a bit better about how much time and energy and focus I'm spending on this topic, good. But also, you might be ready. You might actually be ready. It's been like 10, 20 weeks, I don't know, whatever is too much for you, and you do want to step back. I love it. Okay, and you know what? Screw that. I'm going to say this works for everyone at any level of their recovery. Okay, so if you are binging every episode, that's great. You're going to run out soon. And once you're finished with that, you can put boundaries up that allow you to still stay focused on recovery without making it, every second of your day. If that's what you really want, like, let's do that. I encourage that. I encourage that all the time. At the end of this Saturday community call, I often tell women, like when we're signing off, okay guys, bye. This has been great. And please go and do something else and think about something else for the rest of the day. So if say you joined the HA Society as an example, right? Because you're focused on recovery, you want to be connected with all of these women, you want to ask questions to me and other people about recovery in the group and get that like one-on-one support. All you need to do is log in once a week and you're going to be up to speed, right? It's like you don't need, if you don't want to log in every single day and go through the resources. You could just log in to join the call, or just log in to shoot me a message about an update with whatever questions you have, and then log back off. Or you could have the boundary of, I'm going to listen to the HA podcast on Wednesdays when it comes out, and that's all I'm going to do. Or, the HA podcast and Meg Doll's podcast or something like that. Like, you have your boundaries, and then you have permission to stop. You don't have to do more. That could be enough. And the reason it's great to make sure that you do have this one thing, you do check in on the community calls, or you do listen to episodes of your favorite podcasts that keep you on the way to recovery, or you do read your favorite blog about recovery once a week, is because it's important that you're bringing yourself back and realigning with the goal. So imagine you work at a company that, and take my project manager hat on right now. Imagine you are working at a company and you have a whole team and you're working on a project together, and you're given your tasks and assignments to get this project done, and you never check in with the team about progress and how things are going, and you never dedicate time to just recenter on it. It's not going to be a very successful project. Now, if you do have a big project, you and your team are typically, in most organized workplaces, going to have a weekly check-in where you just quickly get on a call or meet in real life and go around the group and just all update, touch base, answer questions, get realigned together, get all back on the same page, problem solve really quickly through any roadblocks that you're having, and then you go about the week continuing to work on the project, and it's making really good progress and everyone is aligned. I hope that connected with other people, because that's my job, and so I don't know if that analogy sticks with everyone, but it's just like real life. It's just like recovery, where you know what you're doing. You need to eat rest, and you need to eat more and rest more, and maybe you're working in certain supplements, or maybe you're being more mindful about your protein intake. Great. But when are you checking in regularly to make sure that that's still working and still going well, to make sure old behaviors aren't slipping back in, or to make sure that you haven't developed new habits that are not helpful, or to make sure that what you're doing is even the right move for you now? If you're not checking in on those things, all you're doing is moving yourself back into a world that's not super supportive of that. So it's important that you are checking in with yourself, typically having some kind of accountability to your recovery by staying active and involved in the HA community, whether that be just listening to podcasts, reading articles, or whether that be joining groups like the HA Society and showing up to the call once a week. We come, we listen, we talk, we recenter, and we disperse, and then we do it again the next week, right? That, for a lot of people, that's all you need to do. Some people maybe twice a week, 3 times a week. Whatever it is for you, it's okay, and it's okay that you are focusing on recovery and consuming a lot of information on it. And if you do truly feel like it's too much for you right now and you're overdoing it and you need to take a step back, that's okay. Put a boundary up. You're only going to check in with your podcasts or your community or whatever once a week, and that's it. And then for the rest of the week, you're going to focus on other things. But if you're still going through recovery, I just don't recommend that you 100% walk away from this community and like consuming information and motivation about recovery, because the outside world is not really set up for your success with that. So I just don't want you to feel bad about how much of it you consume. You know, life's not black and white. Like, we don't need to be so polarizing and like, I'm gonna learn everything about it, Jay, and now I'm going to completely disassociate from it, or I'm going to completely like leave it behind and never worry about it and never think about it again. Like, no. I know we wish that we could live in this like black and white, yes, right, wrong, light world, but we can't. It's gray. There's a lot of gray. So recovery is probably always going to be in some way a part of your life. So maybe just find the boundary that works best for you when the time is right to step away from how much you're consuming. I hope that was helpful to any of you who are, thinking, oh, is this too much? Do I need a break from this? Yeah, maybe you need a little bit less, and that's okay. Or maybe you need permission to keep binging all of the content, and that's okay too. All right, guys. Have a really good weekend or week or whenever the heck you're listening to this. Bye.
Thank you so much for listening today, guys. Please subscribe to the podcast, and if you could head to iTunes specifically and leave a rating or review, that would help so much, because it makes it easier for other people with HA who are Googling around to find the podcast really easily. So if you do that, you're doing a service to all of the women.
Fall means autumnal breezes and vibrant earthy colors. It also means fall allergens, bacteria, and particles coming into your home. So swap out your old HVAC air filter with a Filtrete air filter from a retailer near you. Let's clear the air.
Hey, I'm Katie Grossman, a trail and ultramarathon runner sponsored by New Balance. I'm also a creative professional, wife to my life and running partner, Dominic, and a very proud mom of 2 girls. Life has gotten a little crazy, especially after battling postpartum injury and an abdominal tumor. But running is still a huge part of my identity, and it legitimately improves my mental health. I'm working my way back to racing, but for now, I'm still finding peace on the trail. Go beyond the run at newbalance.com.